The United States of America contains 2.3 billion acres and consumes approximately 4,000 terawatt-hours of electricity per year. Solar utility farms have been producing approximately 350 million watt-hours per acre on average. 12 million acres could adequately produce approximately 4,000 terawatt-hours per year. Here is the math. 350 million times 12 million equals 4.2 thousand trillion or 4.2 thousand terawatt-hours of electricity. Where do we get the 12 million acres, you ask? We simply annex 10 miles of Mexico on the border. Mexico has been very disrespectful of the United States and has acted as a conduit for other countries attempting to invade. By merely annexing 10 miles of area south of the Mexican border in Mexico that is contiguous to the American border, we would have plenty of room for the solar utility farm, which could act as a very substantial border, which would be 2,000 miles long by 10 miles wide. Mexico has been invading the United States for decades if not centuries. Over 25% of its population have left Mexico and invaded the United States. If we annex 10 miles of the area along the 2,000-mile border, this could provide the 12 million acres necessary, and it would only consume 2.5% of the Mexico territory, which would be merely a defensive move to stop an invasion of 25% of the Mexican population, which is insane. 25% versus a 2.5% territorial acquisition would be more than reasonable, fair, and productive, and potentially profitable. This brilliant move could provide the USA with clean energy to power the upcoming transition to electric vehicle, and even airplanes will be powered by electric motors, so we can use the extra power and lose the pollution that produces it. The pathetic excuses for walls that we have used in the past are nothing more than grounds for major damage lawsuits against the morons in office who promised to serve and protect the United States. These shameless scumbags have failed miserably in protecting the United States from these invasions while producing debts now in the tens of trillions of dollars, or possibly hundreds of trillions if you consider various sleazy unfunded liability schemes such as pensions and socialist health care. And now for one drunken troll's opinion.
Let me put to rest the dreams of sugar plums that we're going to power America on photovoltaics. And if they don't involve 35% cell efficiencies and some pretty serious new technology, you can assume that you're talking to children. And be kind to them and try to get them under the auspices of a mother somewhere who can take care of them and keep them out of your way while you're working. If you hear from anybody that has a Green New Deal to power America on photovoltaics, ask for the details. And if they don't involve 35% cell efficiencies and some pretty serious new technology, you can assume that you're talking to children. And be kind to them and try to get them.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
Ask, and you shall receive. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened.
This slobbering idiot is Jack Ricard. He's basically a nice hard-working guy, who means well but is, like most people, a little dense. He has a shop in the Midwest that builds electric vehicles, solar batteries, and conducts related experiments and creates new devices for EV and solar technologies. This is an electric conversion that he did on a 57 Porsche convertible, 10 years ago. It's not bad for 10 years ago, but we have much better components available today. In the early 70s we put an electric vehicle on the moon. In the 90s GM built the EV1, In the early 2000s, Tesla introduced the first long-range, high-performance electric sports car, and Jack is one of the many EV enthusiasts who have followed suit. Yet he can't wrap his meat and cheese-filled brain around a simple concept that recognizes the solar energy and the photovoltaic technologies available to power the United States with solar panels. One, apart from not being that bright, he's probably not a big picture guy. He can't think beyond the scope of his shop, his vehicles, and his ass, as large as it may be. 2. Jack's condition is not that unique, and it's something that Hamilton struggled with centuries ago. The real problem is that the masses are asses. People are stupid. Most people don't think beyond their own perceived self-interests, and they're dumb. Bottom line, Jack just needs to stay in his lane. All he had to do before making moronic comments about a national solar system was check the numbers as he would before making comments about batteries or electric motors for EV conversions. But Jack is no great political or economic theorist. He's not a typical left-wing libtard. He's more like an amateur Limbaugh wannabe. Anyway, he's lame about macroeconomic and ecological issues. Most are. The smart solar wall could have two basic functions. 1. To provide clean energy for the United States, which would allow it to retire polluting sources of energy. And 2. To stop the invading hordes from storming the country. These hordes do many destructive things. A. They oversupply labor markets with cheap labor, which the capitalists love. B. They supply easily manipulated primitive votes to scum offering welfare. C. They overload ecosystems with pollution, which they typically are oblivious to. D. They degrade the culture with the destructive values that wreck the countries they came from. E. They overload and destroy ecosystems, and their ecological footprints overload the resources we have available for items such as farming, housing, roads, etc. F. They reproduce at higher birth rates because they don't give a shit about the environment, and they want to expand their influence over the country as quickly as possible. G. They haven't been screened for diseases and their intentions and value to the country. Which is insane. The United States is supposed to participate in its destruction by letting any losers just storm the country with parasitic attitudes, offering no values to be predetermined by the country they are invading. H. The country has been full since 1967. According to mathematical calculations by ecological footprints, correlated to biocapacities. This was well understood back in the late 60s, however, various ecological so-called organizations have been bought off by capitalists and communists and other socialist loons. If you'll notice, all the beggars in the name of sham scams like global warming never mention the need for border control, from Al Gore to Elon Musk. At least Musk is working on productive solutions. However, he really needs to lay off the Mary Jane. On one side of his mouth he cries for cleaner air, and on the other side of his mouth he cries for open borders. What a sad joke. Same with Al Gore, Nancy Pelosi, or whatever lib-rat whore you choose. All crazy, sick and disgusting people who really don't want to make America great again. Demo-rats, rhinos, capitalists, and a whole slew of clueless idiots who can't think beyond their own self-perceived interests are all prey to the open borders lunacy that you're just supposed to let people invade your country with zero consequences. What a bunch of idiots. The out-of-control overpopulation waves that the hordes of invaders bring because their birth rates are higher and their primitive habits are slovenly, simply degrades the Earth's environment and its various subsystems such as cultures and ecosystems, which are in constant evolution. The waves of hordes do not contribute to evolution, but degradation. Anyone who thinks that waves and waves of out-of-control overpopulation brought by hordes of invading immigrants is good for the Earth's environments is simply an ignorant moron, and the planet is full of them. Another source of open borders lunacy is fake libertarians, such as Butthurt Ronnie, who got all butthurt when what he thought were his loyal supporters voted for Trump and not his son, who is very weak on borders like his daddy. Their problem is that they don't understand that you can't sustain a libertarian civilization if you do not protect its borders. Duh. Fake news scum pump out a never-ending stream of fake news which promotes never-ending streams of pollution invasions. They're like sewage pipes pumping out sewage 24/7 day after day after day. And of course, they're all open borders morons. In a world of fake libertarians, fake news, and phony blowhards like Jack Ricard, you think that maybe the fake vegans would be for border control to protect the environments and the animals, but no, most of these fake vegans are libtards, who don't want to come out against the invaders with border control because it might hurt their view counts. What a bunch of morons.
There is a remarkable amount of care provided to kids, even in the US, thanks to Obama. Thanks, Obama. Yeah, dental care even, eye care, just like all of the medical stuff, the visits and everything, which there are quite a bit of visits in the first, particularly in the first, like...
This fake vegan girl has no clue what she's even talking about. Obama depressed the economy with everything from socialist healthcare and $10 trillion of federal debt to the encouragement of massive waves of invaders to come to the USA and pollute its environments, thereby killing millions of animals she pretends to care about. She's a nice girl, but God, what an ignorant view whore.
It's even in the US, thanks to Obama. Thanks, Obama. Yeah, dental care even, eye care, just like all of the medical stuff,
Getting back to the solar utility farm/border, according to the performance history statistics of modern solar utility farms, we need 12 million acres to supply our current electricity needs and replace all of the production going on now. Of course we don't need to replace all of it, and our needs may increase or diminish. By simply annexing 10 miles of the border area on the Mexican side, we could create a massive border while producing clean solar energy. The solar utility farm border could be protected with all kinds of low-cost automation such as sensor-driven robotics that would identify invaders and stop them in their tracks, with everything from electrocution fencing to gas dispensers used for crowd control. The modern automation alternatives are endless, and only the lying trolls will dispute their potential effectiveness. This is a clip of Jack's helpers cleaning the solar panels on his roof. Jack has basic homeowner level knowledge of solar, and there he is commenting like he's some big authority on national solar systems. What a joke. Anyway, you don't clean panels with mops. What a joke. There are solar utility farms all over the planet. We know what they can produce according to the historical data available to us on their performance, whereas Jack gets his data right out of his ass. What a moron. Coincidentally, here is a solar farm with an automated cleaning system. Utility farm defense systems could also be automated for low-cost and efficient border control and utility protection. So many stupid trolls on YouTube. So many stupid trolls who don't know jack shit.